Good morning, everyone. Going to be recording this morning as usual, and we'll be starting. So get comfy, get your cup of coffee or tea. Mine is still brewing, doing a little French press today. Yes, that's a lot of coffee and caffeine, but it's gonna be fine. I got a little meditation music going on. So we're going to give it just a couple more minutes and then we're going to be jumping right on into it. I'll be right back. Only seemed right that for the peaceful friend, we'd have some peaceful music playing in the background. See if I can figure out how to work my own technology to turn it off. Okay, we are in this thing this morning. So we are on day 2 of the Strong Friend Bootcamp. We have been exploring and checking into, and you may have seen it from some of the previous lives that were only airing technically in the Facebook group, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think those ended up making it out to Instagram. I could probably share them there. I'll consider it. But in the interim, if you guys are here and you're in our Facebook group, that you already realistically have access to the replay pages that will let you know the upcoming dates for the remaining days of the boot camp, as well as what we've already covered and where you can review it at. For this particular boot camp, because it is different than one of our summits, you have access up until the very end. So if you are here and you're wondering, okay, she just giving away free stuff for free stuff's sake, yes and no. In that we are definitely here, and I'm clearly this is free because you paid absolutely nothing but your attention and time. So energetically, the request was your attention. But part of what and why I'm doing this is because just noticing the differences that sometimes women can go through and like what that looks like on the back end of trying to be everything to everybody in all the ways and then trying to figure out how to make that make sense and still be everything to you doesn't always go over very well. And with that being said, we find ourselves in a position of going back and forth between different states of functioning, being able to go from survival mode to existing to thriving to showing up in different capacities in the different areas of our lives, and maybe one of them getting 100% of our time and attention, and the others being neglected because we just didn't know how to integrate our energies in the best way so that we don't end up burnt out and wore out and tired and always feeling like we gave and got nothing back. No one understands us, no one gets it. And if you have been historically in that role of the strong friend specifically, when you needed the help or needed someone else to be there, you typically didn't have anybody to go to, because the assumption and the outward appearance is that you've always got everything taken care of. Now, while I know I have a recap set in our actual slides for today, I realize I'm totally going over it right this minute. So if you have ever been here with me and a PowerPoint before, then you know that because the information is really all up in here, it just flows. And sometimes the slide will be catching up to me or be catching up to the slide, but you're definitely going to get all the information that I am here to share with you in the hopes that you're able to take something from it, do something with it. And I love to hear your feedback on what's resonating, what isn't, and how I can give more of what's helpful and supportive to you. At the end of this entire boot camp, I'm definitely opening up an opportunity for a few. I am not taking a large group of women, but women only, a few select women that are willing to intentionally craft and curate a pretty dope process that I've been using for over, at this point, I think it's like 7 years or so, that I've used to help people get from point A to point B, and intentionally doing so from a space of integrating your feminine energy into your masculine, and taking these different states of functioning into how you show up, create goals that are supportive for yourself across different areas of life, such as your mind, body, and self, and then being able to really talk about how you're going to reclaim this version of you that was super supportive and helpful. We'll definitely share more about that later. And to be respectful of our Saturday time, or the day that you happen to be watching this, we are going to go ahead and jump right on into it. My goal is to be done within 1 hour or less, so that by the closing of this hour, we will be done. Great information will have been shared. A good time was had by all. And definitely, if there are any questions, thoughts, or concerns, that I can totally answer them for you. And if you don't get to see this live, by all means, still drop us some comments or questions or concerns that you may have, or things that maybe you want me to bring up to share out throughout the remainder of this bootcamp. Now let's see my effectiveness at sharing the screen and being able to, okay, so that didn't quite. Oh, I think I figured out how to scroll it backwards, even though you all can't see it. So there's that part. So maybe I need to make this smaller. Start it from the beginning. And let's hit this share. And if you don't have pictures of yourself on your home screen, then at least let it be pictures of something or someone that truly inspires you the most ever. Let's start it from the beginning. All right. My assumption is you all can totally see my screen. Just give me a thumbs up, yes, something in the chat so I know we're all here for it. Okay, cool. All right. So welcome to day 2. We are discussing the peaceful friend, and sneak peek slide in here, giving you guys a little extra. As I was preparing today, what I recognized was the literal counter opposite of the strong friend is our mystery friend that we introduced before, which is the do nothing friend. So if we were to look at a straight line, and if you remember a little bit about math, I love math, and you look at complementary angles, the peaceful friend and the do nothing friend literally are almost always paralleling the other part of what would make that straight line in degrees. So the peaceful friend usually tends to take on more of the acute angle, smaller one, whereas the do nothing friend takes on the more obtuse, the wider angle. I know you guys didn't come here for math, but just stay with me, stay with me. So welcome, welcome to the Strong Friends Bootcamp Day 2. So the peaceful friend, as you guys heard the music earlier, I was already setting the tone to embody my peace. If you happen to follow me on social media, then you know at the end of my work week, I am putting down my strong friend cape for the moment because that strong friend is absolutely 100% how I show up in the space and capacity as a therapist and coach at different points in time, which is embodying a lot more of my masculine energy and helping people move forward while still holding that space in the feminine of having empathy and wanting to make sure people get what they need and are taken care of. So recapping the first day, we were looking at who was the strong friend, just going a little bit deeper into what are the actual strengths and attributes of the strong friend? How does that work out for you? And we won't go deep into this because you can totally catch the replay and see the notes that are like captured with it. But what are the attributes of the strong friend? We went over states of functioning, so surviving, existing, and thriving, and what that looks like in the capacity of the strong friend. We're definitely going to talk about that in the peaceful friend. Smart goals, so how we can be specific, measure, how we can create specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-oriented goals specific to whichever role we're either trying to embody more of, less of, just in general across your life. If you're creating goals, when you create them in this particular manner, it gives you the opportunity to reach the goals in a way that doesn't cause you to be like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything right. Like you can literally do any and everything you want to do if you decide that it's important and significant enough to you. We introduced the 5 M's, and I know there's a space where you're like, what the heck is that? And then this is one of those lingering kind of mystery. You'll get to know more of it as you come more into my world and you're with me for a while, that these are resources that are supportive towards you actually meeting and creating those SMART goals and transitioning through your states of functioning. The 5 M's are supportive to the rest of the set it off mantra or process of how I go about helping people recognize where they're at, start to create the goals of getting there, and then seeing the places and spaces of how that can look. So set, surviving, existing, or thriving. The it is the intentional transitioning, and the off is into opportunities for financial and feminine energy integration for freedom. We didn't put that there. We also discussed the purpose and gifts that can be reclaimed from the friend type that we were previously in, which is the strong friend. So we'll be definitely talking about that for the peaceful friend and the do nothing friend. So the empowering roles of the peaceful friend. Let's look at this. So I kind of shared already the component or aspect of, and I'll pause to share for a moment. You can have a little more me in this moment. So the peaceful friend, as we shared in the lives, in the podcast, is the person that they're always there. They show up, they don't take up space. They don't take up space as we're looking at this straight line of the peaceful friend and the do nothing friend. The peaceful friend is taking up the least amount of space that it would take to come from one side to the other side, because in that state or space of functioning, they're not in the way. They're not causing someone else to have to do too much for them. They're asking for pretty much almost no space, if any, and is absolutely showing up to try to give to other people and make sure that they get promoted or get what they're looking for. Let's resume that real quick. Some of the strengths that the peaceful friend does possess is that because she is so determined to not take up space and not have anyone inconvenienced, she ends up being a pretty decent placeholder for other people to pop in and out on. There's definitely a counter to that of how it negatively impacts the actual peaceful friend. But for other people, what they do is they always know that they're there. They can always count on if you were thinking of the person that's always like at home, or you can stop by their house anytime because they're not going to be out of the country, or uh, doing something that nobody else can be a part of, this friend is your peaceful friend. Complementary, the person that pops up the most would be the do nothing friend, because they know that this person is there and can give them attention and time. How can you embrace this role? So if if you recognize you kind of show up as this peaceful friend, like you're always just kind of there, you're available, you want to make sure everybody's taken care of. And I don't want to say like someone that bakes goods, like that person has to be a peaceful, it doesn't, because I bake and I don't tend to step into this role often. But when I do, um, part of what allows me to enjoy it is the aspect of being able to be more giving to people and from a selfless space. So one of the things that the peaceful friend totally has in their states of functioning, when they're in survival mode, they're absolutely giving too much to everyone. This is the person that also presents as having what you would say zero boundaries, and that if you ask, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, as long as they literally physically can get there and be there. So I know in the previous like discussion of the peaceful friend, it was kind of stated like they're not always there, but like they're not gonna be there for the shenanigans. They're not going to jail. That's part of how the peaceful friend does like continue to show up. One of their boundaries is I'm not going to jail for you. The strong friend, maybe, if the movement is right. But this person is always there in the capacity of they won't be involved in something that will prevent them from being able to show up from you. They are just kind of waiting to be needed, to be of value to someone, finding their value. So when they're in survival mode, they're not really recognizing or believing that they have much value to give to people, which is why they overgive and over provide for other folks in a way that is supportive. So the strong friend does too much, as in they will probably pick it up, do all the things, and show up. The peaceful friend is like, let me do acts behind the scene. This is your behind the scenes friend that is literally cooking you whole meals, cleaning your house, taking care of your kids, taking care of you, all of those things, which is a strength and a gift that they have the capacity to do so many supportive things for another person, but they usually tend to do so at their own detriment. And they may even still be showing up for their own family in that sense, but they're never showing up for them. The beauty of this role is this person makes an amazing, like, assistant to someone else who's got way too many things on their plate, a strong friend who's doing way too much. And this person has the capacity to hold the space, but where the line gets blurred a little is in the peaceful friend actually taking on just as much energy as that strong friend in their what is it called? Of acts of service. So when they're expressing their love language, their acts of service, they will do too much while the strong friend is literally taking on too many tasks in the first place, that they now need this peaceful friend to support them because they are doing the most. The complementary do nothing friend, and I say complementary because every role has its space, place, and time. When we introduced the do nothing friend and the mystery friend, what we started with was the discussion that this friend usually is not dependable. They're not someone you can count on. Like, this is not who you go to when you need someone to show up at the bake sale for your kid, or you want to make sure they're going to pick them up from school if you have children, or the person that if you needed someone to clock you in at work and not tell all your business, this might not be that particular friend. This do nothing friend, the positive aspect of it is they're pretty consistent in their inconsistency. You're not expecting them to always show up. So those moments and times where they have shifts in their state of functioning. So when the do nothing friend has the capacity to actually show up for you, and here's part of what that show up looks like, is that when they show up, usually if you are in the state of the peaceful friend and the do nothing friend does show up for you, it usually looks like they show up and demand and command all the attention. So say it's your birthday, peaceful friend, and your do nothing friend does show up to the party. Magically, your party just got turned into their personal platform and stage to perform and show out. In the interim, peaceful friend, you may be in the background of your own function where you're supposed to be the center of attention. And you're thankful actually that the do nothing friend showed up, because this particular friend allowed you to not be the center of attention, allowed people to not notice you, which meant you did not take up space, because the do nothing friend is taking up all the space for everything. So the compliment is that the person that doesn't want to be out front and in front of everyone, the peaceful friend, the do nothing friend has got that under control and handled extremely well. She's showing up and showing out if she's there, right? This do nothing friend, clearly there's, and each of the roles, please understand, there's a lot of life experiences and things that have happened that have gotten people to a place and space of functioning and showing up in the ways that they do. The do nothing friend is in survival mode every time she shows up and does the whole entire most. When she's existing, it's probably when you don't hear from her. When she is actually thriving, those are the moments where she does show up and she doesn't demand all the attention because she was able to take on a more balanced space, giving a little bit of goddess, which we'll be talking about on our next day. But each person is able to move through these various different states, but there's typically one consistent friend type that you show up as. The do nothing friend has the capacity to take a break. One of the things that can lead to personal growth in this friend type is that they typically don't overcommit themselves ever. So their boundaries are actually pretty freaking good. So they're like, yeah, nope, I'm not interested in that. Their boundaries in protecting their time and their energy. Now, their boundaries with overstepping and taking too much of other people's, this is where, like I said, it's a compliment to the person that doesn't want to be the center of attention. It's a detriment to another do nothing friend that's in their surviving status at the same time. This is where you may sometimes see those conflicts, and friend groups are out in public. If you notice two women having an altercation, they might both be in their surviving do nothing state. Possibly. It doesn't have to be, but it's very possible. But that being said, if you check the dynamics of when all these friends kind of get together, the strong friend probably rarely ever engages consistently with the do nothing friend, unless the strong friend has finally reached their peak and is like, I just need to have fun and do the most. Then these two, the do nothing and the strong friend, are literally doing the most and outwardly having the best time ever, while both internally, strong friend may be finally letting go and living, while the do nothing friend is just trying to survive and like make it through the day. Oh, I guess I've already shared some of those examples of the friend type dynamics. So again, kind of just recapping for a quick moment, and I'll pause to share. Our peaceful friend tends to not want to be the center of attention, and not because you don't have really amazing and great things to offer, but whatever has happened that has put you in this place or space where you're like, if I can just not take up space and be visible, but still do all these great and amazing things, then I will feel good because people needed me, people wanted me, and I was able to help. When people notice you, peaceful friend, it makes you a little bit nervous. And it does take your strong friend to kind of like, your strong friend, your goddess friend, to like push and allow you to receive your flowers while you're here. The do nothing friend, it's fine to show up and show out, but sometimes there's a space where maybe when you do get into that existing state and you just stay at home and give yourself a minute to really look at what are you doing and what are you doing, why are you doing it? There's so much more to gain that you can show up in your thriving state where there is more of a balance. Yes, you're still commanding attention, but you can do so in a way that actually works instead of the like doing the most way. Let's resume the share and kind of continue on from here. Let me check how we're doing on time. Oh, we're doing like probably way too fast, which means there's that much more info that we'll be able to share afterwards. So the balancing act, like I said, the peaceful friend and the do nothing friend, they're already a complementary friend role, friend type anyways. They tend to hang together and go together pretty well. The challenge for both of them may be in how they care for themselves and help others at the same time. So peaceful friend, my love, you're amazing, you're awesome, and you need a break too. You too need a break. Do nothing, friend. Friend, you are doing the most. It's time to actually do nothing. Like take a little break. Notice where one of you is not respecting your own time and energy boundaries, and where the other is superseding and stepping on other people's. How would you currently actually strike a balance between personally doing well and being able to assist others? So that looks like, how much time do you give to you versus how much time do you give to other people, and do so in a way that was healthy for you and supportive to the others? I totally would love to hear any examples or possibilities of it, but I use balance, and I would say balance looks more like you're on a seesaw. So realistically, you do know like those things like are going to tip and fall at different points in time. When you're not really in that space of maybe thriving or comfortable in your state of existing, it absolutely feels like you are doing a balancing act. And if you don't have good balance, this is where you find yourself kind of jumping into those slumps where of the three friend types that we've discussed so far, you're finding yourself not okay in one to all areas of life. So your personal life, what does it look like? Your professional life, what do your friends, your actual friend groups look like? What do your professional connections or affiliations look like? Is there and a healthy amount, when I say, is there a healthy amount of time you spend between the different areas that are significant and important in your life? Knowing what's healthy for you and not what's healthy for everybody else is where you start to notice how, what friend might be the best complement for you in this moment? Who might you need to be seeking? And when I say complementary friend, it could be your actual friend, but it might even be a professional that carries more of that energy or weight of a role that would get you to the place of not constantly in the balancing act, but starting to move more into the space of integrating, which is having your established and created healthy boundaries of how much friend time do I need with my actual like girlfriends, guy friends? How much time do I need with my business associates or your business friends or business besties? If they're not the same, how much time do I need with my family? How much time do I need in my career to efficiently sustain it and advance it as you're setting goals to do so? If you're at a place in your career where it feels good and right, then maybe the area that you're focusing on is the relationships that you have with your family and friends. But ideally, you totally want to start with the one for yourself. So there may be a specific friend that would help with that. If you know internally you're struggling, that friend type or complementary friend energy would be maybe that of a therapist or a coach. If you are struggling with your career or just trying to figure out what the heck am I even doing and how can I do it more intentionally? Because I know all of these friend types, you're smart. Like you know a lot of stuff. You've lived a lot of life. You have a lot of experience. And there are just things that because you are who you are, you've always been able to do and accomplish certain things. So when you feel stuck, there may be another person to reach out to. It might look like a personal trainer. It may look like, again, a different type of coach. Maybe this is someone that's specific to your career. It could be organizations or networks of people. So maybe you're at a point where you need to actually network and mastermind with other folks to see what's out there and what can be helpful to you. Noticing these two primary roles that we were looking at and focusing in this moment, give yourself a minute, and I'm totally going to sip on some more of my coffee, to notice and acknowledge at what point in time have you ever found yourself taking on the peaceful friend role or the do nothing friend role, and how it was actually supportive to you. Or is there a little bit of that that needs to happen, maybe even today? Like I said, at the filming of this particular episode or this part of our boot camp, it's already set for you to be moving to a space of self-care and maybe being off if your Fridays are literally Fridays when you're done with your work, you should be moving into your days off. How do you take care of yourself? What do you do? Who do you engage with? Who do you not engage with? Take a moment, jot those things down, take a couple of sips, and we'll keep it going. When you're going back and catching the replay, by all means, feel free to pause it for a moment so that you can finish writing these things down. So there's beauty in balance, and there's strength in integrating, which is looking at what it is you are most in need of and then putting it together within your 24 hours and your 7 days a week in a way that works for you. So the transformation process, this is kind of like, these questions are more like things I totally want you to start looking at and embracing for yourself. If you're noticing yourself more heavily in any of the friend types that we've discussed so far, do you even want to change how you're currently functioning? Is there some aspect where you're like, this is too much, it's not working for me, I need something to be different? Or are you at a place and space where you're like, man, I'm good, like I'm solid, I'm great, nothing needs to change, I'm perfect? Let's say you are, and you still want to transform something. What would it look like? Even if you feel like things aren't working for you, what would be something that you would want to be different? And how can it be significant in your life that it gets to be a very personal thing? It gets to be you versus you instead of you versus the world. And how would you like to envision the process of being able to create this transformation? Is this something where you go away and spend time alone? Or do you actually look into something like, and I for the life of me, the name and the title keeps escaping me because we're still exploring it as it totally makes sense. But looking at the Strong Friends Lab might be the name of what's coming next at the conclusion of this boot camp, where someone is actually walking you through the major important areas of life, ding, 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 me, and sharing with you how to go about strategically changing your mindset, the different stories and things that you have going on for yourself, and then how you can even get your body into action and support it. And then looking at how you pour into yourself. So even just being there in the first place, having this blueprint, having these additional tools and access to resources that are going to support you in the process, and then having access to the community, to my community of people who have not only been able to help and support me, but have also intentionally created closer dynamics within among themselves to be able to keep leveling up in all their various different stages of functioning in the different areas of life of significance as they chose an area at a time to start to enhance and change. If someone asked, what would your most empowered version of yourself look like? Do you have a clear physical picture, mental experience of what it looks like, and reclamation of how you spend your time ensuring that you maintain it and also feed into it to make it even better every day, since it is us against us? If you don't, that's totally okay. Stick with me, hang out here. We're gonna keep showing up. Um, we're showing up to reshape the narrative. Because I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, sometimes there are some things that just make sense that get carried over into my real life all the time, definitely into how I coach and support people. But there is a beauty in rewriting your story. What happened to you is what happened. How you choose to speak about it is your choice, actually. How it impacts you now, believe it or not, you always have a choice in determining how you want to go about experiencing it. It may not seem like it, it may not feel like it, because there are certain things that people just assume, well, if this happens, then of course you have to feel this way. It may be more automatic, but you can change it. Quick example, believe it or not, if someone slaps you, you don't actually have to retaliate at all. There's so many different choices, but most people would naturally assume, oh, if someone hits you, you probably hit them back. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. If someone says thank you or gives you a compliment, you also give them a compliment back. One that doesn't work, and I'm inviting you all to stop it immediately. If someone says, oh, you look really nice today in that green shirt, when you're functioning in that peaceful friend state and you're not wanting to be noticed or seen, your response is, oh my gosh, this whole thing, like, well, I got it on discount. It's really not that great. You immediately start tearing down the gift and compliment that someone gave you. You are reshaping the narrative of yourself, even in that moment when someone gave you a gift of recognizing and seeing you. The do nothing friend in the opposite version may, in that same scenario, might be like, of course it does. It's that best. Like, who knows? Who knows? And the strong friend may be like, yeah, thanks, got it. And we'll just bypass it. The part that we're missing and when we're reshaping the narratives of not only our lives is that how we show up 100% impacts other people too. Most recently on a post, and I appreciate that I have such an amazing team that I get to work with that points out things that I've already said or done because I don't remember them. And that is the beauty of having folks around you that are supportive and take a couple of breaths to breathe. When you are someone who is running your own business or two and managing a household, like functioning in that super strong friends energy, it's hard to take a moment to breathe and look at what are some of the things that you are actually doing right already in your life, despite whichever friend role you're in. What are you already doing? And the right is because it's right for you. What are some things that you're already doing that allows you to really feel good about yourself and take care of yourself? Maybe you have never missed a dental appointment in your life and you've always taken care of your teeth. Maybe it's your wardrobe. Maybe it's remembering people's birthdays, but there are things that you've always done that made you feel good and it actually even supported someone else. But it required you to make a decision that this is going to be a part of who you are and how you're going to show up. So in rewriting that narrative, it can kind of seem daunting, like, oh my God, where do I start? No fear. Stick with us, keep hanging out here. And like I said, when you get this opportunity or this offer, you're going to want to explore it a little bit more because who doesn't want to be able to craft and shift your life in your own terms? Like, if you can wake up and decide my life is going to look like this and then live and experience it, why wouldn't you? That's a real question because most people don't even recognize that that is an option. There is a belief in being stuck and you have to do it this particular way because that's how everyone's done it. And it's not true. There's consequences that come with things if you do stuff outside of social norms that are detrimental to other people. But outside of that, you might F around and find out that you actually can be great and transition back and forth between the different friend types in the ways that are supportive to you. Let's see. So our purpose and gift reclamation. In this moment, if you are the peaceful friend or in your do nothing friend energy, and I think I'm going to have to find a better name for do nothing friend because it sounds not great. And the thing is, there are gifts there. So maybe that might be part of a challenge. I'll drop it in the Facebook and we'll ask you all to help us find what's a better name that describes this friend type that doesn't create a negative connotation when you think of it. So in this moment, what are some of the gifts that you can recall that maybe we've already discussed and how the peaceful friend shows up and is supportive to others? How the do nothing friend shows up and is supportive to others, and maybe mystery friend might be sufficient. Maybe that might be enough. We'll have to check it out. But what are some of the things that they naturally already give to other people, that they naturally show up this way and it's just there? So the manipulation of transforming into a version of themselves that would need to happen requires acknowledging what's already there so that you can build on that foundation. I'm not going to give all of these, but I definitely would love to hear some of them. What in this moment, regardless of whether you've identified your friend type or not, what are some of your unique gifts that already contribute to helping others? And when I say helping others, and please understand, this is going to be a consistent theme because this is the area where we get to create and build on. Your unique gifts not only help other people, but it probably dictated the type of work that you may be doing if you enjoy what you do. If what you do right this minute, you enjoy and you realistically are helping other people, then this is probably because you're a person that wants to help other people. Those gifts put you in a position where it's kind of effortless. Like you don't really need to think about it. You just do it. You just show up this way. Other people get blessed every time you walk in alignment with what you already have and what you're already really good at. And then you do it in a way that not only allows you to take care of yourself, but allows you to give to other people. And it's how you want to be giving. So, for instance, if you're someone that's really great at organizing things, but you don't have a desire to be, I don't know, like maybe a bookkeeper because maybe the numbers are keeping stuff in order, like it's annoying to you, that same gift can 100% translate over to organizing people's physical spaces or their time. Same gift, but how you use it contributes to how you get to feel good about having that gift that's already there. So within these different friend dynamics and role types, what are your unique gifts anyways? And do you tap into multiple ones? What ways can you start to align your purpose with these actions and these gifts? So if what you're doing right now for how you take care of yourself financially isn't in alignment with what you want to be doing, it's okay because you have the opportunity to explore maybe other things or ways that would allow you to have your internal needs fulfilled and purpose as well as, and I'm just assuming if you're here, you do genuinely like to help people. How you go about it can be in lots of different ways. And there's lots of positions and jobs and careers that people do that they don't even realize how helpful you truly are to people because it seems maybe small or minor or overlooked, but literally, if they weren't there, some of us would not be here. So just keep in mind, we all have a purpose. We all have natural innate gifts. And when we disregard them or deem them as not valuable, we not only prevent ourselves from having a good experience of ourselves, but that's what we're projecting out into the world, which causes other people to start to treat and feel the same way about us too. And then we have these loops of stories, and hence the need to change the narrative where everyone always treats me this way and they always think this and da 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 da. Once we get done with our full story, then the world is like, okay, great. Well, let us go ahead and make it real and true for you. And then you get to keep repeating it and you get to keep being right. Reclaiming our gifts gives us the opportunity to start reclaiming who it is we want to be. Oh, I guess we've reached that point in time. If there are any questions, concerns or thoughts or aha moments, I would love to hear them, share them with you, and just get a little more insight into how's this showing up for you guys? What's it looking like? What's it feeling like? What's working for you? What's not working for you? If you've joined me on the on Zoom, if you join me in the Facebook group, if you join me on YouTube, whatever location you're at, you're still here rocking with me. I'm just wondering, how is it going for you so far? What are you gaining from it? Um, what are you noticing about yourself? And maybe even you've already identified which friend type you might be at this point. If you have, like, please share it in the chat. I'd love to know. I'd love to get to know more about you all. where you're at and what it is you want to be creating and doing differently. Give a little space here. And see who's also ready for day 3, which I believe is happening on Monday. So again, this is where we're at now. What's available to you around about by the end of this week coming up is the opportunity to be in a very exclusive, intimate setting where, oh, cool. I love this. Thank you for sharing this. I don't know. I don't want to call you out if you're not ready to be called out, but I appreciate the comment over here from the Zoom link of just actually taking the time to examine what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Believe it or not, we make this assumption that we just know what we're doing and we're just in action. We're just doing stuff. And then we find out later, oh, shoot, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Am I doing it for me? Am I doing it because this is what other people said I'm supposed to be doing? And at this point in time, if you're still rocking with me, you don't even have to say what it is. You can drop an emoji. You can just drop an emoji. You don't even have to say the words "me too," because if you're here, then you already know, and we all know. How many times have you done something because that's what other people said you should do, and or you believe that by doing it, you were totally going to be, it was supposed to bring, they said it'll be good. So I'll just drop some of my examples as you're exploring some of your own in this moment. When you get out of the Army as a veteran, people are going to be trying to hire you left and right. So make sure you apply to all the jobs. Nobody cared. I got out. If you go to school and get all the degrees, people are going to respect you. People are still blatantly bold-faced disrespectful despite all of the degrees and certifications I have going. If you just keep working super, super hard, everything's going to totally, like you won't need a lot of money because no, that's not true. Like, you don't need money to survive. You'll be fine if you just work hard. No, you actually need money to pay for stuff. Like, you just do. Working super hard for next to no money doesn't allow you to take care of people, especially if you're a person that takes care of other people in your role. So again, let's see, what are some other things that they said? And just notice, when is the last time you took a moment to sit and qualify the conversations you're having even with yourself of, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And who am I doing this for? Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for the gram? Are you doing it for a family member or somebody else that said, oh, you should be doing this because it's a good idea or you're really good at it? Like, realistically, we're all good at a lot of stuff. And some of us go pursue almost all of it. Ding, 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 ding. And then find out after you're burnt out and tired as I don't know what, yes, you may be good at all the things, but there's still only 24 hours in a day and you can't do all of it. And there's not even a benefit in you doing all of it. You can give to other people by holding the space to allow them the opportunity to give and do certain things while you stay in your zone of genius. In this moment, I can't remember which book or which thing, but there is a difference in being really great at things and even liking it. And instead of you being in your zone of genius, where every time you step into that space, it's like what you do in that moment, it flows, it moves, people are transformed, you're transformed. And as you look at these different friend types, when you are in the essence and the gifts of any of those friend types, you thrive, you show up and you show out. Your existence is the show out. And it shows because the people around you get to experience not only a great version of you, but they get to experience what it was you intended. It's like everything matches. You meant to show up and be helpful. The person that you showed up for received it as you showing up and being helpful. It all worked together. Everybody gets to walk away and get what they want. when you are doing too much or doing too little, your intentions get misunderstood more easily. When the other people aren't asking for or even clear on what they want, their request of your attention and time gets misunderstood more easily. Giving yourself a minute, it can be like every day, it can be once a week, but take some time to really look at what you're doing and why you're doing it, because everything isn't always supposed to be that way. Things change. Rewriting the narrative to your story is what gives you the power to take full ownership of your life. When people say, like, I own my life and I'm the only person that can tell me what to do, that has always been true. Even when you were a kid, believe it or not, we didn't have to listen to our parents. However, if you didn't, that FAFO would come out real strong. Like, you'll F around and not listening. And back in the day, some folks would say it was getting beat, but it was just a regular whooping for some people. And life will do the same. You can do what you want to do. There are some social norms you just might want to follow. And just checking on the comments, I'm enjoying life more because I have been dropping the I need this actions and things. Yeah, the I need it. Who do you need it for? Is it you need it, or it's someone said you need it, so then you showed up for it? I say that even with what I offer. Everybody doesn't need what I have to offer. Everybody doesn't need to do therapy with me. Everyone doesn't need to be coaching with me. Everyone doesn't need to take yoga with me. They don't, because I'm not for everybody. I'm not supposed to be for everybody. I'm supposed to be for the people that I am here for, and you too. And that doesn't take away from anything or anyone. The people that I'm not for, it's because there's someone else that's in a place that can hold space for them in the ways that I cannot. I'm good with that. Because when you do try to hold that space in a way that you're not capable of, again, misunderstandings. And I do feel privileged to know when it's not totally working. The only problem with that is if the other person doesn't, it doesn't really matter. It still, unfortunately, can become a part of someone's not great story. Do what you want to do within the constraints of what is going to be supportive to you. Because when you do that, it puts you in a position that your overflow of having taken the right steps and right actions that are in the right alignment and integration for you. Other people get blessed by the overflow of how much you've done the right things for you. When you're doing the right things for everyone else, you you'll know it because you'll be so daggone burnt out and tired that any of these friend types, you're totally walking in that survival mode of how they function, and it's not working for you. Other people may be great, but you are experiencing all the not great stuff. You are the one that's tired. You are the one that's burnt out. You're the one that's nasty and irritable to the people you care about. You're the one that's burning relationships and tearing down bridges that were supposed to be built. You're the one that's having financial losses or the weight gain or the not great health or not able to sleep. Like, all those things are indicators that something's not working. And every time we ignore it and still keep trying to show up in the same capacity, not recognizing what's changed or different, we harm ourselves. Not the rest of the world immediately, but we harm the rest of the world in a sense that we aren't doing what we're supposed to take care of us so that we can show up and provide and give to other people. If I don't take care of me, guess what? All my therapy clients potentially have a horrible experience with me. Now, to be fair, I know better and I know enough. But if we were looking at full extremes and say I had no idea and didn't do those things, then I will be putting myself and the people that I actually am trying to show up and support, I could be putting them in harm's way by not making sure I take care of me. Hence, I have boundaries. I don't see people on the weekends. I don't do certain things at certain times, or if they are going to prevent me from taking care of myself, there is not a benefit. Strong friend, peaceful friend, or mystery do nothing friend or not. If I don't take care of me first, I can't show up here and be sharing from a genuine open space of wanting to give. And anytime I have shown up anyways, whether you all knew it or not, energetically, it happened. And people are like, I don't know about that. Maybe not. People aren't really trying to get access to stuff they already have going that they don't want. When you show up in your best version of you, your greatest self, your goddess self with all those vibes and energy, and you're doing you in your way, people feel it. They can appreciate it and respect it for what it is. Whether you are the strong friend, the peaceful friend, or the mystery do nothing friend, over this next couple of days, if you missed any of this, like go back and replay them. Replay the initial introduction of the friend types. Replay the first 2 days. If you're catching this and you're about to be joining or signing up for the third or fourth day, like make sure you watch all of them and you give yourself that time to really take the information in. Even if you speed it up and put it to 1.25 or 1.5, because time wise, you need it more, which is why I wanted to chunk it down and have it be not hours upon hours, but give yourself that time to listen to it, to pour into you. Take out what you need, throw out what you don't. Let me know if it's hitting or working for you, because I'd love to be able to share it. I'd love to be able to share your success. I'd love to be able to be a part of it. So catch me on Monday, I believe, at 11 maybe, for day 3. Make sure you are in the Facebook group. Make sure you are, thank you. I appreciate you too. Make sure that you are on our email list so you don't miss out, because there will be, come next week, there'll be a couple of things that are going to be shared and offered. If you happen to be local, then that's even better, because there's something else that's coming up. Save the date, 2/17. If you're not, that's totally fine. Now you have an excuse to make a trip to LA, but otherwise, there's more info that we'll be sharing throughout the emails. And when we start dropping those, kind of like for the people that are like, I know I'm ready, I'm in, I'm trying to do something different and build this version of me that I love and can't stand to live without, you're not going to want to miss those early bonuses and things that we're going to be sharing. So I'll be seeing y'all on day 3. We will jump into the goddess friend. We will be culminating what that looks like, that full integration of all the different states of functioning and how it's going well, how you can intentionally reshape and draft your life into the image that allows you to be your most successful version of you, and how you can work with me to do that intentionally. So you're not out here just trying to figure it all out on your own, like, okay, she said the things, but now what? I got you. I got a whole process. It has consistently worked every single time. And now it gets to work intentionally for women, embodying their feminine energy and still coming up on all the wins in their personal and professional lives. So literally, you're making the money, you're spending the time where you want to, you're loving on the folks that you want to love on, you're receiving the love back from the people you want it from, and you're able to do you on purpose. So I'll be seeing y'all soon. Thank you for riding with me, like spending your time with me, and your feedback is so helpful. If I don't know if it's hitting or working, like I can talk all day just because I just know a bunch of stuff, but why if it's not going to be helpful to anyone? So let me know what does work for you so I can keep bringing that information. I will be seeing y'all very, very soon. Binge watch, go check out some old episodes, check out podcasts, just, check me out. Like, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Have a great day, y'all.